A child sits on the edge of a bed, fingers clutching the faded ear of a stuffed rabbit. From the living room, muffled arguments rise and fall, like a storm that cannot be escaped. The child's small hands tremble, unsure which parent will claim them tonight, or if anyone even notices the ache inside. They wanted to feel safe. Now they feel as if the world itself has fractured. This is life as a child of divorce, a world where love feels conditional and attention is a scarce resource. Behind the child's smiles and jokes, a quiet fear grows, fear of abandonment, fear of being too much or too little. They watch other children with stable homes and feel a stab of jealousy that turns into guilt. Why can't I have that? Why can't my parents just be happy together? Anger simmers too, directed at the adults who were supposed to protect them, accompanied by the whispering thought that perhaps love is something they'll never fully earn. Silently, internalized neglect grows, shaping how they perceive themselves and their worth, leaving fingerprints on every thought, every glance, every action. Their home, once imagined as a place of warmth, becomes a living hell. Routines collapse and arguments erupt one after another. Consistency vanishes, replaced with unpredictable reactions and silent withdrawals. The child's young, impressionable brain notices patterns. Attention comes only when they perform. Love is given only when they behave. Happiness is temporary and must be earned. The nervous system eventually becomes wired to remain alert, anticipating danger, noticing every little detail. The world becomes a minefield, every step calculated to avoid triggers. They learn early. Love is fragile. Safety is fleeting. Vigilance is survival. The child clings for reassurance and avoids conflict. Their minds gradually form a labyrinth of self-blame. Did I cause this? Am I too much? Each mistake feel like proof they were never enough. Every success, every polite gesture becomes a double-edged sword. It brings approval, but also reinforces the lesson that love must be earned. They adapt, they survive, but at what cost? As the child grows, these early adaptations solidify into patterns that follow them into adulthood. They overfunction in relationships, shoulder responsibilities that are not theirs, hesitate to ask for help, avoiding vulnerability. Trust becomes cautious, love measured, self-blame whispers in quiet moments. I don't deserve this happiness, this affection, this success. Even joy can feel hollow. Every achievement carries an invisible price tag, as if every ounce of approval must be earned. Anxiety and hyper-vigilance remain shadows, subtle yet persistent reminders of the storms that never seem to end. Yet, through this struggle, the child develops skills others may never see: awareness, empathy, and most of all, compassion. They notice patterns, read emotions, and anticipate needs. The survival mechanisms that once protected them quietly transforms into hidden strengths, tools of perception, understanding, and depth. Pain created depth. Losses built sensitivity. Struggles nurtured empathy. The child who once flinched at every raised voice now perceives nuance that others miss. The one who feared rejection now can offer understanding that feels rare, almost sacred, to those who experience it. Their parents were not always cruel. Divorce does not make anyone a villain. Most were doing the best they could, even when that best fell short. Life is messy, full of contradictions. The child can feel anger and still crave their parents' love, struggle to trust, and still cultivate extraordinary empathy. The child's experience is layered. They were harmed, yes, but they were also shaped, strengthened, and equipped with unique insight. Trauma does not erase the child they were, but it rewires them in ways that can be transformed into wisdom, resilience, and self-awareness. Healing begins when the child finally hears their inner self. Words long absent are whispered. It wasn't your fault. You deserved love. You were enough. At first, these words feel awkward, even impossible, but repetition is power. Practical steps emerge: journaling to explore what went unseen, therapy to untangle old patterns, setting boundaries to protect the self that was neglected, acts of self-compassion to nourish the part that went hungry. Slowly, vigilance is replaced with trust, anxiety with patience, self-blame with self-validation. Healing is a process, not a switch. It does not erase the past, but it loosens its grip. The child no longer seeks patterns in partners, no longer mistakes chaos for love, and begins giving themselves what they once longed for. The child who once searched for every face for signs of approval now sits with their own solitude, calm and steady. The trembling hands have found stillness. The frantic seeking has become intentional choice. What once threatened to break the child has instead revealed something unbreakable within them. The story continues, but now they hold the pen. They are no longer merely surviving. They are becoming who they were always meant to be. The storms may still roll past their windows, and life may still erupt in chaos, but within them lies a sanctuary no one can take away. The child who trembled, who feared abandonment, who counted each argument like a wave crashing over them, now knows they were enough then, and they are enough now. They are not defined by fracture or absence. They are defined by the courage it took to survive, the insight it took to see, and the love it took to reclaim themselves. And in that reclamation, something extraordinary emerges. Scars are not limitations, they are the map of their strength.